Hey everyone, and welcome to Mayfield and Friends, episode 33. Today I have a guest that many of you may not have heard of. His name is Cypher, known for being a streamer, content creator, mostly for RuneScape 3. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Rat, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Yeah, so I'm Rat. I've been doing content creation for RuneScape 3 and everything for 6 months now, I think. I don't play OSRS at all for now, at least. Um, I mainly do different kinds of challenge accounts and stuff like that for RS3.
Awesome. And I know when I had initially asked you about doing this, I don't know if I mentioned you're the first RS3 content creator that I've ever had on here. And I know for some people that might be a little bit of a turn off, but I highly implore you to, listen. And I think the biggest reason for that is due to the nature of how new you are to the game. So when did you start playing RuneScape in general?
So yeah, like I said, I started 6 months ago. I literally think I played for 30 minutes, and then I was like, okay, I want to stream this. And then I
Hell yeah.
just started streaming the game. Yeah.
So most people we talk about their history in RuneScape because so many people who play this game have played it basically their entire lives. So what's your history with MMOs in general? What brought you to playing this now in 2023 when you started, but in 2024 instead of the vast amount of other MMOs that are at your exposure at any given time?
Yeah, so I'm pretty young, especially compared to other people who play RS. I'm like 23. I just turned 23. So the game's older than me. I never really heard of RuneScape when I was growing up, weirdly enough. I grew up on Adventure Quest Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first MMO experience, and I love that game. And then I didn't really touch any other MMO until 5, 6 years ago, where I was like, oh, I want to try some MMOs. I tried World of Warcraft with friends. I didn't like it. I tried FF14, Lost Ark, New World, all the big contenders. I tried them. But the reason I never really liked them is because they were always so dependent on playing with other people. I think my biggest technical MMO, if you would, I mean, I don't even think it's considered an MMO, but Destiny 2 is the closest I got to an MMO that I played for a long time.
I would put
I
it in
think I have,
the same sphere, but it's not. I guess it's not quite an MMO.
yeah, but it's definitely weird, but that's the game I played for the longest. I have 2,000 hours in Destiny 2. So someone hates themselves. Um Anyone who still plays Destiny 2 hates themselves, and you know it.
My roommate loves that game. He did Destiny 2 PvP for he has 1,500 hours as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Tell this man if he's happy, and he'll tell you he's never seen joy a day in his life. It's not even a dig against him. It's just that game is so bad. Oh my god, it gets worse at every patch. My friends and everything stopped playing before me, and I was the one no, it'll get better, I swear. And I was just huffing copium, and it never did, and it just kept getting worse.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am.
I feel like it's just the state of some games, and the gaming industry as a whole is as it goes on.
At least you aren't a League of Legends player.
Okay, well, League of Legends is the game I've played the most for sure. I've been playing since release.
Well, maybe I should stop recording.
Honestly, I don't know. You basically just agreed to have a terrorist on.
I don't think that's true, but I guess we'll see it the farther deeper we go.
I mean, listen, if you have League of Legends installed, you're on a watch list. You're on several at least. Just
most
for,
likely
having touched the game ever.
So after Destiny 2 5 years ago, you said you kind of started exploring other games. So
yeah, so 5 years ago is when I started exploring other MMOs. I played Destiny 2 until about 3 years ago. And I was playing, I don't even remember when Lost Ark came out. That was the last one I tried. Lost Ark.
Yeah,
I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago.
my roommate also he did the same thing as you did. But like he opposite. He played RuneScape forever, and then like now he's exploring other MMOs and has like played other ones. And he played Lost Ark until like you hit the point where if you're not paying, you're basically like falling behind.
That's a part of Lost Ark.
Apparently, when he told me once you get to like a certain point, like you can grind for everything, but if you're not like shoveling some kind of money into it, you're gonna be behind people who are like getting the best stuff.
No, I don't think that's right, but I'm not sure because I haven't played in a long time.
Maybe he lied to me.
But I have like 600 hours in the game. As far as I remember, Lost Ark was like if you spend money, you're a dumbass because you could like I think the money you have to spend to catch up to someone who just plays daily is like $10,000 or something.
Damn.
Like just do your dailies and it gives you much more progress.
Maybe I'll have to have a word with him with my fists.
It might have. I think honestly, like we should revive waterboarding for this one.
Possibly. I'm always open to new / old forms of getting answers out of people.
Yeah. Fun fact, did you know waterboarding has been proven to be the least effective method? Like torture is a horrible method of getting information out of people.
It's gotta be nice.
Yeah.
Make him your friend.
No, like actually, getting like a working relationship is like the best interrogation method. Because if they trust you, then it's much easier. And like you can use intimidation and stuff, but don't torture the man because he'll just say whatever to get out.
It's true. That's fair. I never thought about it that way. I'm also not in the business of torture.
Oh, well, that would explain it.
As far as everybody knows.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think I managed to interview a Jagex employee, right?
Yeah, I need to find your methods because I'm trying to get some on the cast.
Yeah.
One day.
Speaking of self-plug, ooh.
Oh yeah, definitely. All of your socials and all that stuff will be in the description. And I know this will be coming out a week from today. So for reference for everybody else, it is currently March 3rd. So this will be out March 10th. So when is your episode coming out? Your first episode of your own cast you're doing?
It should have been out. It'll be out by next week.
Perfect.
It's finished. I finished making it, but I took a break from content creation last week because I felt really burnt out and shitty. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a break and try to like step back and see why I'm not enjoying myself right now. Because I was at a point where I was dreading every stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna just try and be like, why the fuck do I feel so bad about this?
I totally get it. Like I do these every 2 weeks roughly, but for like January, early February, it was like maybe once a month. Just because I just didn't really have anybody I super wanted to talk to, and I didn't like at the time at least, and I was just kind of like didn't want to do it. And then my brain was just like, go burr, and then I wanted to do it again. So I started reaching out like heavily again.
Yeah. I think for me it's like I'm like, what is it? I streamed exclusively from end of October to December, and then I decided to make a video. And I started working on the Taskmat Rules video that's out now. That was my first video, and I think it's like 26 minutes long.
Yeah, that video was like what got me interested in you as a person, and like, and we'll talk about this in the near future as well, and like got me like all like not introduced, but like more motivated to try the game mode itself out, and we'll talk about what it is.
That was my main goal. Was like, so my thoughts behind content creation are like, okay, I like what are things that don't exist that I want to see? Like what are things that I want to see that aren't there right now? And I was like, okay, well, let's start with the rules for the mode I play, right? Because there was no rules, and when I was reading them and everything, I'm like, this is super fucking confusing to like have this. And like if no one's there to explain it to you, it's really hard to like read through like 5,000 words of rules on your own. And I was the one who was pushing the what's it called?
The tutorial?
Yeah, the tutorial and stuff like that. Like I'm not saying I'm the one who did everything, but I was like, since I started working on the video, I was telling them like, hey guys, can we can we get a tutorial or something? Like, can we edit a tutorial and things like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I dropped off the face of the earth, and I saw that they released the tutorial like yesterday or something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been
which is really funny.
I've been in the, just because I'm still such a new player to like the game mode, and for reference for those who are curious, we're talking about the, if you are an OSRS watcher at all, you've probably heard of Tedious, who does the generate tasks series, which is he generates a basically a thing to do from the collection log or an achievement diary, and he goes and does it, completes a task. Well, RS3, I'm sure if you've watched him before, you may have noticed that he did a mini series on the RS3 one. And the community in RS3 has really taken it. Like they're the ones who created it. I don't think he had any hand in helping create it, just due to the scale of
No,
RS3 and
yeah,
how much there is to be
it's
done.
in RS3. It's significantly harder,
Yes.
and it's based on it. As far as I know, it was Jack and someone else from the Taskman server who like were the initial minds behind it. It actually started as a um an Excel document, which
Yep.
someone sent me, and it's so disgustingly complicated,
Probably super
and it's
archaic
like
too.
not even finished.
So yeah, and like they've made a lot of quality of life changes and all that stuff to it, and made it like more
Yeah,
accessible. And then obviously when you released your video, it like popped on my algorithm because I watched some RS3 content creators, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I like have like looked in the mode before, but it was very like daunting to try and start it yourself. As you
yeah.
mentioned before, like there was no really super easy ton of great people in there to help you out if you have
Yeah, like
questions.
there's all the nice people to help you and everything, but like it's always intimidating when you have no idea what the mode's about, and like you don't know what it is, and it's like, yeah, just join the server and ask people. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to like communicate with others. Like it's very like intimidating to be like, yeah, just come in and just start yapping.
Yeah, because
Like
then
just
you
just
yeah, because you're gonna
yeah.
feel like a burden almost.
Yeah, I mean it's stressful. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to bother these people, stuff like that, which is like normal thoughts to have. And I'm like, I'll just make a video so people understand. Because like the only reason I played Taskman is because I was streaming like Iron Man, and one of my viewers was a Taskman and was like, hey, you should try this. So I blame them completely.
So you're like, I hate myself enough to start again and try this even more like grueling game mode out in this game I barely play.
Yeah, and that's definitely a form of mental illness.
So I guess since we're on the topic, we can kind of circle back to the beginning and like how you found the game in
Yeah,
general. But
so
like really
yeah.
quick, do you want to tell people like the two main accounts you play right now? Or I guess if there's more, there's more.
Yeah, so I have okay, to be fair, I haven't played Taskman in like 3 weeks, probably a month. Because I'm starting it as a YouTube series, and I'm waiting for the series to like be finished being made, like the first episode to be completely scripted and done, so that I know what the style of it is going to be, so that I can change how I do my streams and how I record to reflect it.
Yeah.
Because as it stands, it's taken me 4 weeks to make one episode that's like 15 minutes long, which is absurd. Actually, no, it's taking me longer because it's really hard for the way I'm doing it. Like I'm crafting a narrative and the production value is really high. And also my editor had some life stuff to deal with for 2 weeks. So they're gone. And that gives me time to work on it. So obviously I don't work on it. Um but yeah, so all of that big ugly tangent to just say basically, I play Taskman, supposedly, and I started a new account that I stream, which is a one skill at a time. Hardcore Iron Man to 99. So I it's the O side. It's one skill at a time. It's very popular in OSRS.
Yep.
Um I've only ever seen one YouTube series that does it on RS3. And this isn't a dig to that creator or anything, because I watched this series, but it's not like the best quality thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll just make like a high quality or a higher quality one and like have fun with it. And I really enjoy it. Like I think I'm 700 hours into this account or something.
And are you planning on doing a YouTube series of that one as well?
Yeah. Like this is definitely a YouTube series. Like my mindset behind it. I'm just streaming it now because I don't want to continue doing Taskman if it's gonna like make producing the videos even more of a headache down the line.
Absolutely.
But I'm not quitting Taskman. I'm gonna do it again. Next week sometime probably, or I don't know. At some point soon, I'm going to go back to streaming mainly Taskman.
Perfect. And like after this video's done, you know, you'll be going to watch Rat's like new podcast, and then you can go follow him on Twitch as well.
Yes, give me money. Oh, speaking of giving me money,
yeah, that's the other segue, right?
Yeah. So basically, the way that the one skill at a time works, I don't edit my own videos because I have severe brain damage and editing gives me anxiety attacks. God knows why, but I hire an editor and she's super cool. She's fucking amazing, but I can't really like afford to make it out of pocket. So any money I get donated or anything like that goes straight to just paying for videos and content creation and stuff. And I have a thing on my one skill at a time where if a certain amount of money is donated, like up to the goal, it adds like another level I have to get in the skill. So I got 99 agility 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and I've been trying to get. Now I think the goal is up to 105 agility, which is really high up there. But yeah, so if anyone donates, I just keep going until I hit the next mark, and that way it's a way for me to like be able to afford to make videos and stuff.
Yeah, so if you want to torture him, go give him money on Twitch.
Yeah, it's a horrible experience. I don't know why I did this. But like I said, like for Taskman as well, like there's an incentive to donate there where since I've never played RuneScape before, I don't know anything about the game. And if I get donated money, there's a goal for like blind guideless. So like the last thing I did before I ended up taking the break for the video productions was doing Monkey Madness completely blind and guideless, and I think in total it took 9 hours.
That must have been like kind of rewarding though at the end.
Yeah, but like if I could do it again, I wouldn't.
Oh,
just because I hate that. It's so unintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. If I would feel bad if I had to ever do Monkey Madness blind again. Which thankfully I like that's never gonna happen because I know how the quest works now. But oh my god, like that is the stuff of nightmares in my opinion.
That's the thing. Like when you start doing that again, I'm definitely gonna pop in and I'm gonna give you money to do one of these asinine quests blind. It's gonna be amazing, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, like that's what a lot of people are doing.
I think that the big thing too is like following somebody who's new in the game and like seeing your like initial reactions to like some of the things that like you know, for example, like another quest that you may have done at this point. Have you done like some simple things like Monk's Friend?
No. Well, maybe. I don't know what the fuck's Monk's Friend.
You help 2 monks in the Ardi Monastery.
Maybe.
That's pretty much it. Like
I have to look it up. I don't know what any of the quests are called. I don't know what anything's like called.
But some of these quests are like...
Oh, yeah, Monk's Friend. Yeah, with the party balloons and stuff.
Yeah, I've done that quest probably 40 times.
Yeah. I've done it twice because on 2 accounts.
Yeah. So that's the big thing is like for a lot of people who have played this game for so long, like questing is such a slog because every time you try to make a new account or a new type of build or anything of that nature, You just redo all these quests you've already done 17 times throughout your childhood and into adulthood, whereas like for you, you've done it twice now, which is already like crazy to me to think about.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's like, you know, I remember the first time, like just like my own small tangent here, when I like first started playing RS3, one of the first quests I did that was brand new that I'd never done before was Evil Dave's Big Day Out.
Oh my
And
god, I fucking hate that quest.
that quest cemented itself in my mind as one of my favorite quests in the game. It's so much fun.
So something I feel like I should mention. I also really hate questing.
Really?
Oh yeah, I hate questing. Like, so back to the what we were talking about like why other MMOs never did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of hours in Lost Ark because it was a new game. Like I played on release for 600 hours. But if I were to go to that game now, I would not have played it like at all. It was a bit nice, but the thing that sells RuneScape for me is the skilling. I love that it's an MMO where I can just play the whole game alone, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate other MMOs. The reason I never really got into FF14 is because it's always about being in a party. Like, you always want to be in a party, except for like questing, which I always hate questing because I have like for anyone who doesn't know, I'm diagnosed autistic, ADHD, and shit. And like, dude, questing is so bad for my ADHD riddled brain, where I never remember what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's always like giving me a fucking headache because I'm like, oh fuck, what was I supposed to do? Oh, what am I doing? Like, I'll just forget what I'm doing. It's like when you're holding a toothbrush and then you like get distracted, and then you're like, where the fuck do I put my toothbrush?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
totally,
then you're
I totally
like
get
looking
it.
around for it while it's in your hand. Yeah, that's what I feel way too much of the time.
One thing I think that you probably feel very at home with the community though is a lot of people hate questing and they just want to do the combat and the skilling.
I have not met a single other person who hates questing. To be fair, I think it's because everyone who sees me questing is always like, haha, look at this idiot blind questing.
That's fair. That's fair. Cause I mean, I personally, I don't mind it. I don't like doing a quest like underground pass for the 15th time though. But at the same time, like once you've done it so many times at that point, it's like, you're so numb to it. Like I lost, on my RS3 attachment, I lost my hardcore during that quest.
Oh god.
Cause I killed Calrag. Everybody will know what that is, this big spider. And then as soon as you kill it, all the small spiders start attacking you, and my character stalled. And then I was like spamming Q to teleport out. That's my hotkey for teleporting. I was like spamming it, and then I just, as soon as the stall ended, getting the blood on the doll, I died. I was so mad that I had to go back to the underground pass. I wasn't even mad at hardcore status. I was mad I had to go back to the underground pass.
Dude, I lost oh my god. You know what? I'm not even gonna say it. Go look at the first episode of my Taskman series when it comes out. Just if you want to look at fucking bullshit. That I think the first episode really, really cements that I'm a new player.
I'm very excited to like see it. The
Yeah.
one video I've seen, and you know, hopefully the people who listen to this and you know watch your one video that you have or two videos you have out right now, that kind of stuff. Like, I hope people like really enjoy your style the way I do because there's a lot of time put into it. Like, even though you say you pay an editor, like you still do all the voices. And
no, like the thing is, like I pay an editor for it to get done. If I didn't pay an editor, this would like I would literally never release a video.
Yeah,
I release videos now like once every few months as it stands. Like it's really hard. I think I spend like a few weeks per script. Like working on scripts because it's like my script writing is like, oh, I look at my entire VOD, I watch the whole VOD for whatever it is. So that's like 4 or 5 hours at least.
mm-hmm.
And then I'll go back through it, I'll restart it, and I'll be like, okay, like I craft a narrative for the video. And the whole video is going to be based on like that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't mind saying it because the video is going to come out soon. But for the Taskman video I'm making, episode 1, like I have the whole narrative written and everything, and it's like the fact that I'm a new player because it was recorded in October, I think, or no, November, like beginning of November. So like it's literally the first time I touched Taskman. That stream is my first video. And my problem is that I can't really edit around stuff too much because my Taskman videos or my Taskman VODs have like copyrighted music and stuff playing over them for the first like 30, 40 VODs or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never got a split audio cable. So I'm really forced into like crafting a full narrative, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, like, you could do the easy way out too, like some people would. I guess, quote unquote, easy. You could just make a new account and just start again. But I'm sure that's not something that you're
I'm
interested
not
in at
going to
all.
do that just to make videos on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Like
I've met people who have done that.
like make a new account just to re-record to make videos on.
Yeah. Yeah. I've met people
That's ridiculous.
who will
That
like get
was so insane.
like far, like not that far into something, but like 20, 30 hours into something and be like, oh, I really like this. I really want to share it. So I'm going to
Oh, dog, I'm like
recreate it.
400 hours into my task, man.
Yeah. Like
Like,
my previous guest, his name is Hannibal. He was doing you ever heard of the One Chunk Man?
oh god.
He was doing a
Yeah,
one
Chunkman.
Yeah, he was doing a One Chunk Man and he got like, I think he's like 50 to 100 hours into it and was like, I want to make videos on this, and made a whole new one.
That's fair. No, that's fair. The thing is, right? I went into my Taskman when I was streaming it, and I was like, "This is going to be a video series."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like I knew it was going to be a series. I just didn't like I didn't know a lot about editing or anything, so I didn't know what I needed to like how do you say it to get done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I didn't know I should have split my audio like that. I thought that like the way I was doing it was fine, but it's not. So I can't play any of the audio from stream fully because again, copyrighted music plays at like random times. So what I ended up doing was like talking to my editor, and I was like, okay, we're gonna use the stream footage as background footage, and I'm going to like kind of meta narrate it
Yeah.
and like give it a very nice like not spin, but it's like I am going to be telling the story, and the stream footage is going to be your visual.
That's really cool. I'm like I said, I'm very stoked. That's why I wanted
Yeah.
to sit down and talk with you, because like you're one of like the newer people that I've met, especially with your experience. I just want to say, or lack thereof. It's like a very interesting mindset, because I think a lot of people, like, besides like very, like, what's the word I'm looking for, like, not varied, people who stream multiple games,
Variety streamers.
So like those people, when they play new games, 100% they're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna make videos on it because that's my job. That's what I do. I make videos on like different games all the time. Whereas for a game like this, that is not very common.
Yeah, people like because it's hard to make videos for RuneScape.
Yes,
And, like,
unless you
one
like
thing-
know a shit ton about it sometimes, and you like have the background knowledge of it.
Yeah. So like one thing that people keep telling me, and it it's weird to say, but it makes me feel like an actual like YouTuber, is that people tell me that I'm like really good at what I do. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? Like, I make garbage. Like, and like the thing is, I know I put a lot of effort into it, but to me, it's like, no, like I actually make trash content.
No, I totally get it. It's like when people started like watching my content, I think I'm at like 400 subs now. People like really enjoyed the podcasts and all that stuff. And like there was somebody who said like finally like somebody's like filling a niche, because a lot of like casts about this stuff, it's like they're with like the big content creators, the people who like, you know, everybody knows. Whereas like very few of mine have been with like somebody who's massive, that like everybody who watched it would watch it because they know them, and not just because they're interested in listening to stuff about RuneScape.
Yeah. I mean, like, speaking of that too, right? Like, I think mine, what is it? I forgot what I was gonna say. I love ADHD, dude. The thought escaped my brain.
So you think we can talk about your episode coming up
Yeah.
of your cast?
Yeah, so like, oh yeah. What I was gonna say was filling in niche. Like that's like my mindset, right? Is like what doesn't exist that could exist that I would like. Like I just look for things that I'd be passionate about that don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
and I make them. I am so sad that RS3 doesn't have challenge content like it's supposed to. Like OSRS is made of challenge content. But at the same time, I understand why RS3 doesn't because it's such a different beast. Like trying
100%.
to make challenge content for this game is maddening. And I speak from experience. I think my one skill at a time in time of just theory crafting alone, of trying to see what's possible and what isn't, took few hundred hours. Like at least like 100 to 200 hours of thinking about how to progress with multiple people. Like I have multiple streams where people will come on, ask me what I'm doing and everything, and then like we'll just talk about my thoughts on like my skill order, exactly what I'm gonna do for each skill, how I'm gonna get up there, and like what order to do to unlock what.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to take everything into account. And it's super complicated.
Oh,
But
100%.
in OSRS, it's a lot less complicated.
OSRS is very like, it's much more straight. There's like a path.
Yeah.
It's much more straightforward, but like it's still I would say like it arguably sometimes takes more time to get through the path than it does in like RS3 or some other games that you would play. Just because it's more clunky in a sense.
Yeah.
So
And then yeah, if you play OSRS without RuneLight, you're basically just playing an unfinished game.
in a sense, yeah. Yeah.
You know, like that's what I've heard everyone say. Like that's not my words. But I've heard a lot of people say how like OSRS is very like not incomplete, but like RuneLight finishes it. It makes it very playable. And a lot of
The
people
quality
wouldn't
of
play it
life,
without it.
yeah, the quality of life is just so amazing, and I think Jagex knows that because they've added a lot of content from RuneLight into their base game client and like the mobile version.
Mm-hmm.
So like, for example, one of the things that people like seeing is like on the agility courses, like for those who are like looking at the video at all, like they're highlighted. It just like, it's a quality of life thing, like for some of the courses. So like, I know exactly where to click every time. I don't have to like, remember each individual like spot. Whereas like that wasn't the game for so long. It was a RuneLight thing. And then now it's in the main base client too.
Yeah.
So, like, all that being said, when you were looking for a new game to play, you told me a little bit that you had considered OSRS before, right?
Yeah. So
what
the reason I didn't go to OSRS was because okay, I really like this game for its skilling. And I looked up a lot of videos and stuff that would talk about the difference in like quality of life and stuff like that. And the main thing I would hear is that RS3 is just the quality of life version. Like it has a lot, like it's a lot easier to do all the skills because RS3 has like porters, smithing rework, like a bunch of stuff. Like it has invention, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has more skills. And I play the game for skilling. I do not care about PvP, PvE, PvP like it exists, but like I don't care about like fighting and stuff outside of it be like to train a skill. Like I've never done PVM. Like I've played for 6 months, I haven't touched PVM at all. And I don't really care about touching PVM. Cuz for me it's about like I love skilling. I have massive brain damage and I just really like skilling. And if that wasn't like
you're preaching to the choir
I'd be
here.
doing it one skill at a time.
I mean, I play a level 3, so on OSRS.
Like, yeah, it's like it's the same brain rot, right? Of like
exactly.
Yes, I will play. Yes, I will play the skilling account. I will enjoy not having fun.
I will enjoy clicking in a circle for 80 hours to finish a skill.
Yeah, like I said, and like with my agility, I'm like 500, 600 hours in.
I honestly have no idea how many hours in I am. I think I could probably check, but
Dude, no, don't. I speaking from experience, checking makes you feel terrible.
well,
Like I looked at how much I had, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know why I looked at this. It's like I want to die. Like, why did I spend so much time doing this? Like saying the number is fine, but if I go look at it, if fucking Hans tells me like you've been in this world for 2 months and you have 2,000 hours, like I will look at him and just be like, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I did not waste my life doing this.
From what I can see, I have 220 hours efficiently played doing agility, which means I probably have close to like 300 to 350 hours in agility.
God damn.
Because I think the one small difference I think between OSRS and RS3 is like OSRS has that like super like meta mindset, whereas a lot of the RS2 players, I think they just try and have fun. Obviously, you know,
Yeah.
the people who play the accounts we do not included.
I think OSRS, because it's more popular, it suffers more from like meta syndrome.
Yeah.
Where any game that gets really popular is like, okay, since a lot of people are playing, it's going to have a lot more people who optimize the game. And people who optimize the game and play for the meta are always louder than people who don't. Because they'll be making guides and doing all that stuff. So then if you look up a build, you're going to find a lot of shit that's like meta this, meta that. And you'll just be like, oh, well, if this is just objectively better, I might as well do it.
Yeah, it's the same syndrome as like when Diablo 4 came out and everybody had been playing the beta and they were like, this is what you should be doing early game. And then they get to the mid game faster than anybody else. Like, oh, this is what you should be doing the mid game. Like, if you pick this skill, you're fucking stupid. You're brain dead. Why would you do that? It's like, bro, let me just enjoy playing the game.
I mean, it's happening in real time with Helldivers. Like,
is it really?
Helldivers was a lot of fun builds and stuff like that. And now it's turning into a lot of like meta stuff. Like people have started like kicking players who aren't playing meta from the missions and shit like that. And it's like, what the fuck?
That's insane because like my whole like TikTok feed and like all that shit has been nothing but Helldivers 2 content for like last couple weeks, and it just sounds like people are having such a good time playing it. So like,
oh yeah, but like people have fun and like play for meta as well. I'm just saying like
it's just sad to see it. Yeah, it's sad to see it kind of drift that way.
Yeah, but it's inevitable. Any bid game, it happens.
Yeah.
Like a good example, I think, is Baldur's Gate.
Ooh, I love Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I mean, fucking everyone does. Such a good game, but like the way it works is like it's literally like it's not literally a single player game, but it's basically a single player game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have people who are like still playing for the most optimized meta possible in all of their playthroughs.
Yeah.
It's just like a way people like to play games. And it's fine for games like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff like that. But when it happens to like an MMO or like OSRS or something like that, it's because you can affect other players and like there's the GE and stuff like that. It just affects the global economy and just the global mindset of the game. The more people who play for meta will have like the causality loop thing of causing even more people to play for meta because of the stuff like we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And like,
yeah, it's like a weird slippery slope kind of thing.
I guess that ties back into a question I wanted to ask you about wanting to like enjoy an MMO like with the community, but also playing it solo. Is that another reason RuneScape drew you in because of the like designated Iron Man game mode?
Not exactly. The hardcore Iron Man definitely I like that. Like I am the guy who has the hardcore brain rot. When I was a kid, like growing up, when I started playing Minecraft, I never played the game normally. I think I always played hardcore with no health regeneration on. Damn. Which is a demonic way of playing that game.
I like playing hardcore Minecraft like for 2 weeks a year.
Oh no, like when I was a kid, I think I played that for like all of the time.
Damn.
Like I would play hardcore Minecraft almost exclusively, no health regen or anything. It's still how I play the game. Like it's just like the brain worm I have like taking control of my body and being like, you will play hardcore. But it's how I like to play the game. And I like doing things like very specifically.
Yeah.
And like I was gonna say perfectly, but like there is a part of me that's like, oh, I want it to be like perfect. Like don't take damage, no health regen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's a syndrome, honestly. Like
So have you watched do you watch Settled at all? I know he's an OSRS content creator, but he kind of bridges the gap between like all
yeah, I started watching Settled's new series
Nightmare
of
Mode.
take a single point of damage
Yeah.
and evaporate. And like it's interesting. It's definitely not something I would do ever because it's how do you say it?
Masochistic?
No, it's counterproductive, I feel like. I don't know. It's a weird series. I settled like a big inspiration for me how to make videos and stuff. I just disagree with how he does his challenges sometimes.
And
Because like
that's
he will, I don't remember. I think it was his Tile Man, where he'll set a bunch of rules and restrictions for himself, and then he'll just remove them when he feels like they're being restrictive. And I'm like, okay. Like the example from Tile Man is that he was like, oh, the XP curve.
yeah, the XP scaling.
Yeah, and he removed it, and I'm like, huh? You're what? Why? And his excuse for removing it is the reason he put it in. And like he did something similar with the what's it called? Take a point of damage and die
Nightmare Mode.
account. Yeah, Nightmare Mode. He did something similar where he's like, "This is the last account," and I'm like, "Dude, it's episode like 2 or 3 or something, and you're saying it's your last account."
I think my theory behind the reason I've never said this out loud before, but my theory behind why he did Tile Man was I think he started getting bored of it early. I think that's why he removed it. I think that's why he wanted him to just like finish the series faster. Like obviously it still took him a long time, but
Yeah.
like if you watch his like other channel, he de-ironed the account so quickly.
Yeah.
And like
which is fair, honestly. Like no blame there, but it's like I don't understand about like saying like adding these challenges when you know you're not going to commit to them.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
make the mistake once or something. It's just weird to see him do it like over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Again, nothing unsettling. He makes great content. It's just a personal like thing for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Like why? Like I just don't like that he does this. But aside from that, his content's fucking amazing.
It's the same thing with me saying like I just saw Dune 2 literally a couple hours ago. It was virtually a perfect movie, and I have one gripe with it. I gave it a like 100% like 5 out of 5 score. I still have one small gripe with it. Doesn't mean I don't love the movie. Doesn't mean I probably won't watch it again. So like we can have one gripe with like a content creator or like the way that somebody does something, but you're still gonna enjoy it. And like like you said, like no shade, no hate. Like everybody's gonna have different opinions.
Criticism is good. It's how you improve. That's why like when people criticize my content or stuff, if it's like actual criticism, I'm very open to it. If someone says like, "Oh, I didn't like this part of the video because like it feels out of place or the tempo feels wrong or stuff like that," like yeah, sure. Like or someone's like, "Oh, I don't think that like this joke is funny," or "I think you're doing the same bit too often." Like that's fine. That's good criticism. That just means like I should change that. And I had like 100%. Yeah. But like I've had people give me feedback where the feedback was just like, "Oh, this is cringe," and I'm like, "Okay, why?" And he's like, "I don't know, it's just cringe." And I'm like,
"That doesn't help me."
No, like that just makes me feel like shit.
Yeah, and
it's like you're just like that. You don't have a reason. You're just shitting on me. Like that feels like it's just like, what do you mean it's cringe? Like what part of this?
If somebody commented on one of my last videos and was like, "This was like wasn't even all OSRS," I'm like, do you guys really want to sit and listen to us talk about RuneScape for 2 hours? Like, there's got to be like some more stuff people want to hear, right?
I don't even think I can fucking talk about RuneScape for 2 hours. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, we're like, I don't know, dude. I am not like one of the reasons my podcast is recorded and edited and it's ready to publish, and the reason I haven't published it is because my mental health has dipped. Like I took a break and everything, and it's like I am terrified of publishing the podcast and people start shitting on me for it because they're like, "Oh, what the fuck, you barely talk about RuneScape and barely like do shit like that. And it's like, yeah, my goal behind making this podcast was to interview people that have relations to RuneScape.
100%. And I think we'll get the same comments on this video. I'm sure people will already be like, "Oh my god, RS3, oh, unliked, unsubscribed." And I'm just like, dude, people can enjoy, like, it's still RuneScape. Like, ugh.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, it's just like like I've heard it. Well, like I've watched content creators like my whole life, and you always hear how like one negative comment fucks you up. But like, dude, you don't know what that shit means until you make something and you get your one negative comment.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, holy fuck. I was like, I knew that negativity and negative comments bothered me, and it still fucks me up that like I get anyone saying anything negative. It's so hard to like cope with it.
Oh, 100%. I totally get it. And I guess
Yeah.
that like that brings me into wanting to dive into another question, like, what made you decide to do content creation for this game, and did you ever do it for any other game?
So I streamed League of Legends at the start of like the pandemic for like 3 months. And I actually did pretty well. Like I my streams were like kind of successful and stuff like that. I stopped because I thoroughly did not enjoy it. I was forcing myself to stream when I like wasn't enjoying it, and also the community for that game is terrible.
Yeah.
Like I would have people who would join stream and tell me to like game end myself IRL.
Fuck.
Like that, no, and like it's an actual thing that would happen. Is like every single time I streamed, it would happen once.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like I stopped because I'm like I don't have like the mental energy to keep doing this. And I was also thinking about like editing and stuff like that, and it just didn't come together really because I think it wasn't like my style didn't fit with League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like what I was interested in. And then this year, I was like, okay, I got into RuneScape and I started looking around and I was like trying to look for RuneScape 3 content and I couldn't find any.
Yeah, the sphere's pretty empty. Like, there's a few big names, but like,
there's RS guy, Protox, who have actually talked to Protox. He's very cool. He's very nice.
Iron Araxor is pretty, like, not huge, but he's pretty big now.
Yeah, and like, yeah, so there's all of that, right? And there's no like challenge accounts. Like I said, like there's one single series for challenge accounts, which is to me kind of ridiculous because you type in OSRS and you are flooded with challenge accounts.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna make challenge accounts for like RS3. Like, I enjoy playing this game. There's no challenge accounts. I'll do it myself, and like I'm thoroughly enjoying it and everything. It's a lot of fun, but it's what originally got me into it was wow, none of this stuff exists. And I could just do it myself. I like playing these accounts. I wouldn't mind playing it. And I could like learn how to edit and stuff like that. And the big thing for me was getting into RS3 was that there's no like good guides or anything.
There's
that,
like the
show you
Iron
how to
Man
get into
starter
it.
guide, but that's about it.
It's outdated on the wiki. The
Yeah.
wiki one, you mean?
Yeah.
It's super outdated. You can't even follow it. Like it's actually just like wrong now. The information's not up to date. It doesn't work. Because it tells you like, oh yeah, go fight like wolves or something.
Yeah, it tells you to kill trolls to level 40, like, but like,
yeah. That's what it is.
They just changed
trolls and cows.
Yeah, they just changed how the combat experience works, so that wouldn't be like very good anymore. And like, when I first started getting into RS3, I made a hardcore Iron Man, and I still have that account. And that's the guide I followed for a while, and then I started to realize I got like, I think like to the end of part 2, and I was like, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense anymore. And that's when I kind of like started like thinking about my own RS3 challenge account, kind of like the same way as you did. And now that's why I started playing the Taskman. And I think I just finished beginner tier the other day.
Yeah. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you. It feels good to be like into like some of the bigger challenges now.
Yeah. And like I know a lot of people are like mad at me. I play very slowly, to be fair. I in 3 months I'm halfway through beginner tier, and people finish beginner tier in like 2-3 weeks. But like I two people who asked me this, just to say it, to have it somewhere. I am like new to the game and everything. I play the game like as a new player. I take my time. I'm not trying to speed run anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing like a blind guideless challenge. I only play Taskman on stream. Like I do all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, it's just that. Like that simple, I guess.
Oh, I
Of like
thought you were gonna that there was more, but like sometimes it is just that simple.
no, like it's just that. Like I only play on stream, and when I'm on stream, I'm doing blind guideless, and playing on stream isn't exactly like the fastest progress in the world. It's just like, well,
I think
to read chat and get gaslit.
I think the other big thing about it too is like, especially with you, like, you know, enunciating it so hard, is like you're a new player. Like for those of us who have played this game before, like go do the Blood Pact quest. That's a spacebar quest, no guide. I just can do it.
Yeah.
Whereas for like, you'd be like, well, I actually kind of want to read what they're saying, or like maybe know a little bit about the story, about what's going on. Whereas like a lot of us who have played for so long, we know a lot of the lore, so I don't need to read every quest again.
Yeah.
I can just like listen to a recap or like read a recap on the wiki or something of that nature. Whereas like some people enjoy just like learning about the game in a slower paced way. So like I finished in 3 or 4 weeks, and I only really go like very heavy on the weekends, and I went pretty dry on some RNG grinds as well. But other than that, like don't ever like this is just me saying this as like somebody who's played this game forever. Like don't ever feel bad about, you know, going at your own pace. So what kind of drove you? I know you said a viewer came through and was like, you should try this out. What kind of like made you continue going through the Taskman mode and not try like maybe another different challenge mode account or something of that nature?
I mean, I did try one skill at a time, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is that the reason I took Taskman is because I'm new to the game, and Taskman is really like something that can hold your hand and be like, this is what you should do. Like, hey, go do this. Because going in blind is really rough. Like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And we talked about a little bit about like there being like some outdated guides in the wiki and stuff like that for new accounts. So really diving into RuneScape head first without having like a direction can be very daunting.
Yeah.
So, you know, as far as like it holding your hand on stuff, and as like a new player, how have you felt that has helped you out?
Taskman?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was really good because it like when you do the beginner task, it really is like helping you go through some stuff. I'm a very, very like weird player when it comes to like any game. Like I do not play games the way they should be played. So for me it was fine because I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'll go do this. Like I'll go spend 6 hours killing fungal mites to get my one piece of fungal equipment that isn't worth anything. Like I didn't mind. It was very good. I think it is good for new players, although it is a bit like odd. But it's probably better now that there's the tutorial tier.
Yeah, 100%. And like if there was one thing you could like advise a brand new player, like if you could tell yourself something 6 months ago, what would you tell yourself?
Like one thing?
Well, I guess if there's more than one thing, yeah, but like
I mean, I would just explain, like, I don't know. I feel like I'd explain how the game works. I don't know, because I feel like there's not like one thing. I feel like it's just like a general, like just a lot of general stuff you should learn about the game.
Mm-hmm. And as far as like those general things, do you feel like you kind of, you know, have that in your mind nowadays?
Oh yeah, now for sure. Like now I know how like a lot of the things work. I know that like you can teleport places. Like I know how the lodestone network works a lot better. I know like the different transport systems as well, which is
Hmm.
like very useful. I know just like stuff like that. It's all the minute things that make the game like all that much easier to play.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as like, if you could write a letter to Jagex and like give them information on like being, this is how you could help bring new players in, maybe not even bring new players in because it's always a hard task to do with a game this old, is like how would you make it the game more accessible for people who want to try but are very like overwhelmed, as you mentioned, with the, you know, the tons of things you can just go do right from the bat?
I think I would just make a fuck like Tutorial Island and everything's very good, but I think that I would give players a checklist of things that's separate from quests and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's just like, hey, you're a new player. Do you like you should strive to go like do this. Like go do this quest. Go do like go get this skill up here. Like train one combat skill to this level. Go get like this stuff. Just like a general list of things that aren't obligated for you to do, but if you do them, it gives you more of like a starting direction. Like Tutorial Island and everything are good, and the starter tutorial I think that shows you how to like mine and smith and all the basics of all the skills are good. But I feel like the game could really benefit from having something more concrete.
Hmm. Absolutely. And I think I read this somewhere, but like OSRS and RS3 have some of the most expansive video game wikis in the entire like of
Oh
any
yeah,
video
no,
game
the
ever.
wikis are crazy. Like they're so well made.
So have you, how has that like helped you or influenced you as a new player? Have you kind of crutched on the wiki a lot, or have you been kind of like, I don't know where to find this, really quick look it up?
Yeah, like I literally look up RS3, like in just Google, right? RS3, and then whatever I'm looking up, the wiki page, and I find the information almost immediately.
And is there anything that like those could benefit from? Like, do you find the wording to be a little bit too complex, or do you think that they spell it out pretty easily for somebody who's new?
I think it's pretty obvious, honestly. If anything, like the to suggest like changes to the wiki, I think there's very minute changes they could make.
Hmm.
Like where it's not like really changing anything too majorly, but like it's very just like moving certain pertinent information to like the top of the page or highlighting it or something. Where like if someone's looking up a certain skill, right? You probably could figure out like why. I don't think that's clear. Like if let's say someone's always looking up like a certain item, right? It's all like if 90% of the time they're looking up the item to see like where it drops, you could just like insta link where it drops or something.
Interesting. It's like better hyperlinks in a sense.
Yeah, just because like I feel like there are certain things that are like that on the wiki. That's just like the only reason anyone looks these up is for this. But besides from that, like that's such a like not weird, but such a minute thing.
Yeah, yeah. So like overall, you would say it's like a very, very handy resource for anybody who like knows it exists.
Oh yeah,
And
for
I know,
sure.
I think they've done a very good job about, I think it's like on the clients now where you can like click the, I know in OSRS we have the wiki button, you can click it and then click
Mhm.
something and then it opens up a wiki page of that item and like kind of explains it more
I
to
think
you.
that's in this game.
It is, yeah, but it's more of like a search bar instead of like like, cause the
Yeah.
OSRS one, you just click what you're looking at and it tells you like where to find it or like that kind of stuff. So, or
Yeah.
like if you
Okay.
like wiki a monster, it'll tell you like what are the drops, what the drop rates and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
All that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, and then as far as like moving forward with like RuneScape in general, one question I like to ask people is about updates and all that stuff. So, I guess initial question before we dive into like anything kind of specific is like, what is your personal opinion on the RuneScape update schedule being a weekly schedule and like all that? Like, what is your I guess thoughts about the RuneScape update schedule?
I think it's really good. I think weekly is perfect. Like this week at RuneScape is a perfect system. It's one of the things I like the most about Destiny 2 was that they had like this week in Destiny or
Hmm.
whatever it was called, and they would just like say stuff. My only problem with it was that they would never say anything like pertinent in it. Like not really.
Hmm.
Like 90% of the time they were just useless. But I really like the way that the RuneScape newsletter and everything are formatted, and like just the way it works and stuff like that. I think it's just really well made.
Awesome. So as far as like specific updates happen, I know a whole lot didn't go through in 2023, and you kind of entered at the
I
end of it.
started right after the Hero Pass, so the I haven't lived through a major update yet,
So
but combat update is coming.
yes, big combat beta rework. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see
Yeah,
how
that's
they
on
fix
Monday,
it.
I think.
Oh, really? That soon?
I think so. I think it's coming out tomorrow.
Awesome.
I'm not sure.
I can't wait to like
But
see how they change it to like make it more in line with necromancy.
yeah. I mean, I read the changes and they're very, very interesting. I look forward to it a lot. I haven't really touched combat because I was waiting for this.
Hmm. That
But
would
yeah.
make sense. So
Yeah, I was like, I might as well wait,
yeah.
right? Because it's like it's right around the corner.
And then as far as like things that you've, experienced in your initial playthroughs, whether it be on the task account, the OSAT, or like the kind of stuff you fiddled around with before any of those kind of came to fruition, what is like, how do I word this? What is like some quality of life things that you've noticed that you like really appreciate, and what are some things that you're like that felt really clunky still?
I
If there's
think
any.
yeah. I think definitely in terms of like quality of life stuff, and things that feel really clunky, summoning as a skill as a whole feels super unintuitive and feels just really, really weird compared to everything else in the game.
Okay. And just like the way you collect secondaries and charms, or just like in general how you train it.
The way the skill works.
Okay.
I just think summoning is the weakest skill in this game. After dungeoneering. It's very, very closely tied to dungeoneering.
See, and you have that's a hot. I mean, I guess my take is more hot that like I really like dungeoneering, but I have noticed since my return to the game, it's very outdated compared to like archaeology and other stuff in the same realm of being new skills.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that dungeoneering is a bad skill. I'm just saying it's a useless skill.
Yeah.
Like what what does doing dungeoneering give you aside from quality of life items you buy with tokens?
I guess the resource dungeons is the only thing I can really think about.
Yeah, but like that's not tied to dungeoneering as a skill. Really, that's just you need to get a level to unlock it. That's a skill requirement.
That's true. That is true.
It's not like actual dungeoneering does nothing for you, which is my problem with dungeoneering.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like it's useless. Why maxing dungeoneering unlocks nothing for you as a player.
That's an interesting perspective to like look at it with. I guess I like you're right, because most other skills like they have uses and like everything else. Whereas dungeoneering, like if you go in and just do dungeoneering with like one everything else, like it kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
And the reason why like I saw it through this filter is because I'm doing the one skill at a time.
Hmm.
I looked at every skill and I was like, I looked through the wiki, I combed through everything, and I'm like, okay, if I max this skill, what do I get?
So when in regards to your OSAT, then like is dungeoneering kind of at the end of your end of the trail then?
Yeah. Yeah. No, not really. So my list isn't like finished by any means, but dungeoneering is definitely like almost at the bottom.
Hmm.
The only reason I'm probably gonna do it sooner is just because of the quality of life items with tokens. But
Okay.
not because maxing dungeoneering gives me anything, just because like I want those token items.
Gotcha.
But like you get them so quickly, it's actually kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. When it first came out, it was getting tokens was very slow.
I mean, when it first came out, like it's not even the same skill, right? Because the equipment and stuff you would get from dungeoneering was actually really good and
Yeah,
like
chaotics were really good.
pertinent.
They were really good.
Yeah,
They
no,
were
not
really
pertinent. It
good.
was yeah, I forget. I forgot the word I'm trying to go for here, but it was actually relevant. That's the word.
Yes.
Like now, it's not. It's just not.
Yeah, especially after the mining smithing rework, because getting, bayonet stuff is just better. It's faster.
And like, it's not that hard.
No. No, my regular hardcore has like 89 smithing, 90 mining. It's just something I just did on the side, AFK. Whereas dungeoneering, you kind of have to full focus.
Yeah, you have to full focus like all the time. And
Yeah.
also, elite dungeons aren't safe deaths like dungeoneering. Like elite dungeons can just kill you.
I still haven't done one of those yet, so.
Ah, me neither. I just know that like they are like a threat.
So I guess for anybody curious on the OSET account, I mean, if you have like a minor list of like what's kind of next after agility and like your future plan for like the next couple skills, if you want to like go over that.
Yeah, so in my Discord, like I have a chat that's literally just a skill list. It changes every time I talk about it because I end up realizing something's wrong. But basically, the first skill was agility. Then it's thieving, mining, smithing, divination, crafting, archaeology, and after that, it kind of all shits its pants.
Mm-hmm.
Like after that, like I'm not even gonna say the rest because it's not even like uh not to say set in stone, but I don't even think that it'll be done
Mm-hmm.
for the skills after that. Like I don't think I'm gonna get there.
Plus, that's
Realistically.
also like theoretically years down the line with how much time you said you've already spent with agility. Like,
Yeah,
especially if people
right.
are like they want you to level to 120 in a skill, it's going to take you a lot longer than it will just to 99.
Yeah, I mean, if people do make me go to 120, at least it's like financially viable because it pays for a lot of videos.
Mm-hmm.
But the sheer amount of time it takes is kind of ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Like I'm doing just a 105 now, right? Is like so much time. Like I burn out too. It's not that simple. Agility is a terrible skill to max. It's such a terrible skill to max, honestly, because you just have no good options.
I find it very relaxing. It's like my zen.
Yeah,
It's like
but
my
like
zen skill.
I don't know. I feel like my Zen skill will be like mining or smithing. Like I don't know. Those are enjoyable. This one's just annoying. Like I've gotten to the point where I started ignoring the roars of Osiris because it's like why would I even do these?
It's not
Like
worth it.
whatever. No, it's like oh my god. Like I'll just do it like mentally when I'm prepared to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. So, like, kind of bringing up something you just mentioned was like kind of like burning or not enjoying it. So, what keeps you playing and not just like quitting completely and trying something new again?
Um, I actually like as a person, I have a problem of not seeing things through.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give up on a lot of things before I finish them. And I'm trying to work on that. And like to that end, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do my best to actually finish these skills. The one skill at a time, the reason why it's easier to do is because I really want to be able to max out the skills and stuff like that. And the motivation behind doing the task man is for videos, right? So I'm trying to get multiple things to motivate me to work on these.
Awesome.
And like I have things tied to it. So it's like it's not just restarting Taskman, right? It's I'd have to restart Taskman and then I have to redo a bunch of other stuff. And like footage and scripts and videos and streams.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yes.
I get it. That's a, good motivation to like, want to better yourself in that sense. Even if it's just a video game starting out, who knows what that could lead to.
Yeah. I mean like my main like personal reason for content creation is I really want to just like use it to be a better person and like work on myself with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Where I'm like, I want to be able to see things through. I want to be able to create things. I've never been able to do this before, and I want to have like a creative outlet because I don't have that in my life.
And having that for a lot of people is very important.
Yeah, I mean, just for like mental health, having a creative outlet is like invaluable, basically.
100%. So before I dive into like not my final questions, but like, I got a few left. Is there any questions that you have initially just for me?
Not really, because I didn't think of anything
That's
that I like personally wanted to ask.
it's a kind of a new thing I bring up. So because some people have in the past like had a question for me, so I was just curious. I was just ask out of curiosity to give people like a time to be like, yeah, this is what I wanted to ask you about or talk to you about.
Oh, not really.
Hey,
Just
then
because it's not something I was thinking about at all.
if it does come up, because now that I've put the snail in your brain or the worm in your brain, you let me know at any point in time.
That's sure, but also very bold of you to assume that any thoughts leave my head.
Well, when you speak, thoughts leave your head. So technically, we've been your thoughts have been leaving your brain for the last hour and a half.
Actually, that's not true. Speech for me is just instantly like from my mouth. There's no thought behind it. If you look into my eyes, you just see the back of my skull.
just
There's
word,
nothing in there.
just word vomit and reactions.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen my stream.
So all that being said, you've talked about like, the content creation. You need the editor to, for your own like mental sanity and to be able to get things out in a reasonable amount of time.
Get things done, yeah.
So as far as that goes, like how does playing games, streaming, content creation kind of revolve within your personal life? How do you manage your obligations of, your real life, whether it be work, school, personal relationships, and just regular day-to-day duties?
So,
like how do you manage all that together?
This is a really bad question for me because I don't. I'm on a work leave. I've been unable to work for like a bit of time because of mental health reasons. So I have the free time to do all this stuff. I haven't gotten to the point where I have to manage stuff like that yet.
Well, you're not the only person I've talked to that has like a similar case in a sense.
Yeah. So like for me, it's like we're not there yet. I don't know.
But I mean, there's other things that you do not like have other like mild obligations in life, because like I'm sure you probably have to go outside and do things sometimes, right? Or do you just kind of chill?
Yeah. But like for me, what I do is I put my stream schedule is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Thursday is my like middle of the day week off because I'll need to do stuff or just take a break. And then Saturday, Sunday is when I do like groceries and all my personal stuff, like groceries, chores, everything's on the weekend.
See, there you go. That is your balance.
Yeah.
And you've essentially created that balance by like surrounding like the time where like you stream instead of streaming. You're taking care of these things. So
because on days I stream, it's like brain death.
Full degen.
No, it's like I can't do anything if I'm streaming.
That's fair.
Like if I stream it in a day, I can't like do other things. It's just like, okay, today I streamed.
That's it.
Yeah, like it's too like mentally like taxing for me to do anything else. I can do some content creation stuff on those days. But I can't really do it like anything more advanced than that.
I totally get it. I went to that movie earlier today. I almost was just like, I can't do this right now. I've done my thing for the day.
Yeah, it's like streaming just takes the slot. I mean, like streaming is also like kind of like active. Like I'm not just sitting there doing nothing. It's like I'm actively talking and like taking up the time space. Like if I stream for 3 hours, it's 3 hours of like complete active like talking and interacting and like chatting, playing all at once.
So yeah, I mean, no matter what anybody could possibly say, and doing anything like that you have like not even an obligation to, but something like even something you enjoy. Like I enjoy what I do for work, so like I don't really like hate going. I don't dread going, but there are days where like putting on like your face for like the public instead of just like being able to just like chill is very mentally draining.
Yeah, for sure. And like that's why I had a VTuber model commissioned for me, or a PNG tuber thing commissioned,
Hmm.
because I was like I did that solely because I'm like, okay, I want to see if this helps me with my like stream more. You know what I mean? Is
Hmm.
like if I do this, am I gonna be more comfortable with streaming and less like burnt out? Because some days I just don't want to show my face.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever shown my face in a video or stream before.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I stream with like face cam and everything. That's how I like to do it. I
Hmm.
like having something on screen, and I'm like, oh, I'll commission this like rat PNG tuber thing to make it easier for myself.
Do you find it has helped?
I've only used it once, but it did help for that once, I think. I'm not really sure. It's weird. I have to like play around with it more.
Bigger sample size.
Yeah, yeah. Like I have to test it more and be like, do I actually feel better, or do I just like it because it's new, or
Hmm.
like what is this?
So my second to last question is, we've kind of
Mhm.
alluded to it before a couple times, but and aside from actively playing RS at this point in time, is there any other games that you play like actively right now, or are you kind of mostly focused on RuneScape at the moment?
RuneScape's definitely my main game. I still play like I like strategy games a lot and card games. I've been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics because I hate myself. And
I was very into Dota Underlords when that came out.
yeah, and I've been playing a lot of that. And what is it? I'm actually starting maybe a new thing on stream, a new game like to do on and off of stream, where I'm gonna be playing Elden Ring
Hell yeah.
for like my variety day. Cause what is it? My Tuesday stream is just a variety stream for my own mental health. Where like I need to stream something that isn't RuneScape, or
Hmm.
I will like resent this game. And I usually like my Tuesdays are either collabs or that, or like I'm gonna try doing variety. And so I might start like getting back into Elden Ring because they announced their DLC and it looks amazing.
Shadow of the Erd Tree.
So yes, I can't wait.
I'm stoked.
I never actually beat Elden Ring. Fun fact, because I have horrible like arachnophobia, and I don't know if you've played the game, but
I
if you
finished it.
okay, yeah, so you know the hand enemies.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. They gave me anxiety attacks. Like when they move, I have an actual like petrified fear induced panic attack kind of thing. It's horrifying. Like I want to throw my controller and run away. I've never like I like obviously we don't like know each other that well or anything. But like anyone in my life can tell you that is not at all how I act.
Hmm.
And it's such an out of character response. But holy fuck, I hate those things.
Man, everybody's got their own things. I don't have like bad arachnophobia. Um, but I definitely have had games like I cannot play a horror game of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I get it.
Like there's just some things, man. There's just some things where it's like, please get away from me. And
So
like all those fucking hand enemies. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm gonna be starting a new Elden Ring playthrough. Hopefully being on stream helps with the arachnophobia thing. It sucks because the character I was playing was a full intelligence build.
yeah.
And you have to go to the areas that have the fucking hand enemies. Because that's the area with all the spell gear.
Yep. You have to get all your shit. You have to get your shit to actually do things.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, man.
Just don't play an int build this time.
No, I'm doing I'm gonna be doing a full strength big weapon build.
A big
Go monkey
weapon.
unga bunga.
Monkey go kill, basically.
Yeah. Monkey madness infected me. Like big monkey. Big stick.
So that being said, there's usually it's my final question, but I do have one question specifically for you at the end.
Mhm.
With you being a fairly new player, what do you see your future with the game looking like? Are you infected by like the Taskman and the OSAT? Like, do you see yourself playing for a long time, or
Um I really don't like thinking like that. It's kind of a shitty answer, but
Yeah.
I don't think about the game in terms of like what do I want to do in 6 months? I'm just like right now my plans are I'm going to work on like finishing my current video that I'm working on,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm gonna work on streaming task like working on Taskman videos, streaming Taskman, streaming the OSAT. I have no plans to make another account or do anything else, and I'm not going to start any plans because it's just going to make me. If I start planning something else, I'm gonna want to quit what I'm doing.
Oh, 100%. I totally get it.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not going to say like, oh, I'm gonna do something else. Like, no, my plans right now are I'm gonna do the one skill at a time as my side content, and my main content is gonna be Taskman.
Fair
And
enough.
like we'll see where that takes us. I might take a break from Taskman like at some point and start a new account or something like that. I might do some other things, but it's nothing I've given any amount of thought to. Like if it happens, it happens.
Awesome. And my last question for you.
Yeah.
If there's one thing you could say to the potential haters, people who say, RS3 is a bad game, what's one thing you would tell people about this game that could potentially make them want to give it a try?
If you are playing RS3 for Mainscape, I think you'll have a bad time. I don't like Mainscape RS3, and like it's obviously like to each their own. But I think the Mainscape is what people really dislike with all the microtransactions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of Iron Man, I think that RS3 is one of the funnest restrictive experiences I've seen in terms of a game at all. Like being able to Iron Man this is very, very fun. Although I will admit that there is not a lot of support on Jagex's end for Iron Man accounts. There's a lot of things which, for no like real good reason, are restricted to Iron Man accounts. Like we don't have like access to like some free to play cosmetics, and we don't have access to like some free to play stuff for no reason. And there's like small things like that suck, and like some mini games and events and stuff like that are dead, unfortunately, and you can't really like do those to get the bonuses like stolen creation. It's not as easy as, oh, just go queue up in the game mode and do it. It's like you have to go find the group of people to do the whole thing with and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of things like that, I will admit it's kind of shit. It sucks that that's the way it is. But overall, I think those are lesser gripes. And if you're like, I can find probably the same amount of things for OSRS to say that these things suck for the experience. I think that overall, it's a game that has its ups and downs, and it's definitely worth trying. And it's not worth like just shitting on the game and saying it's a bad game because you personally don't like it. I think it's a good game. And I think if it was actually a bad game, it would not have had the player retention it has now. OSRS is like the most popular version and everything. But it's not, that doesn't mean that it's the only like good version of the game. That's just the one that's popular.
Very well said. And I think if I could like add one small thing, if you go into trying RS3 thinking it's going to be like old school, you're going to have a bad fucking time.
Yeah.
If you go,
can't, it's two different games.
Exactly. If you go into it thinking related. It's a different game in the same universe, you're going to have a much better time.
What I like to tell people when they like ask me these questions is, don't think of it as the same game, because it's not. It's two games based on the same core system by the same company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's literally where the similarities end. It's the same core system, it's the same world, but the games are completely different, and how everything works is completely different.
Fantastic. And for those who have watched this channel for as long as I've been uploading videos, I've been an OSRS player for pretty much since they released 2013. I have I on and off, just like everybody else who plays RuneScape, on and off, on and off. So if there's one thing, if there was ever the push you needed to give the other version a try and try and keep both games alive and keep them, keep the people who love both games or one or the other playing them, this was your push that comes to shove. All that being said,
also,
go ahead.
Real quick, I want to add something.
Yes.
To anyone who says that RS3 is dying, I say this as nicely as possible. Shut the fuck up. It's so cringe that people say the game is dying because the player numbers literally haven't changed and it's kept the same exact curve it's had. Is it possible that the devs release an update that kills the game? Yes. Is it possible for that to happen at OSRS? Also, yes.
Oh yeah.
It's people are saying that this game's gonna die for no reason. The amount of not facts, but the amount of things that will cause the death of RS3 is almost the same level as the amount of things that will cause the death of OSRS.
100%.
It's just that simple. If RS3 dies, let's say it does die, guess what next game is gonna have to end up getting microtransactions because they need to make money as a company.
It's OSRS.
Yeah, I don't understand people who are so against RS3 and think that it's a terrible game and stuff like that, and that Jagex should just abandon it and full focus on OSRS and stuff like that. It's they're two different games. The teams that work on them are completely different. Literally, there's no overlap at Jagex, from what I understand, for the people who play these games, or for the people who work on these games. It has different devs and different things like that. The most overlap they have is stuff that's outside of the game sphere for the company.
100%. Yeah.
Yes, the company has one CEO and they have one IT department and one of each department. That doesn't have to do anything with the game. The devs are separate. Everything's separate.
And I would say the only thing I can think of is OSRS just got an old RS3 quest, Defender of Varrock. Maybe they went over to that team and were like, hey, do you guys have a backup of this file?
I mean, they have they work together and everything, but it's it's not the same as saying RS3 is the devs should just focus on playing on working on this game or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's it is what it is. It's fine. Just stop hating the game because you don't like it. It's very not helpful for anyone. Because if you hate on RS3 and if you keep saying it's a dead game or stuff like that, all you're doing is making the people who work on this game and the people who like this game feel bad. If you don't like microtransactions, talk about how you don't like microtransactions. If you don't like something specific, talk about that. Don't say that the game is dying or that this game should die or anything like that just because you have a gripe with the game. This isn't targeted toward anyone, by the way. It's just
where the shoe fits.
I really like the RuneScape community and everything. This is the one part of the RuneScape community I think is just the worst by far, is the people who just shit on RuneScape 3 for no reason.
And the other big thing about it, those guys haven't played it since EOC came out. They haven't played it in 12 years. So how'd they know?
Yeah, and I've had people shit on me because I play RS3, and it's dude, I'm gonna play the game I'm gonna play. Leave me alone. I'm not gonna switch games because someone comes up to me and is oh, this game sucks ass. You suck for playing it. It's I did not ask. No one asked for this. No one asked for your opinion. No one cares. Leave me alone.
All right. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you taking the time here to talk to me today.
Yeah, sorry for the fucking mini rant at the end. I just thought it was kind of relevant.
No, absolutely, it is relevant. This is the time where if you've got shit to spew, for lack of better terminology, this is the time we do it. This is the unfiltered moment that we all get.
Yeah,
to share our thoughts with the internet, whether the internet cares or not. that being said, all of Rat's, socials that he wants me to post in the description will be there. Please, if you've ever considered, looking at some RS3 content or giving some stuff a try, start with Rad here. He's got a couple videos out. We'll probably have two. By the time you watch this, I'll definitely have his own cast out. With you have a Jagex mod on, right?
Yeah. So like my podcast is about like interviewing Jagex employees more than anything else.
So who's your first guest that people may hate?
It's the first interview was with Jagex Druid, who changed his title to Jagex Owly.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, that should be out before this comes out. If it's not, I'm sorry.
Fingers crossed. So, and then like anything else, the stream, the YouTube, everything will be in the description. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off?
Honestly, just thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Also, it is still exceedingly funny that we kind of like found each other or whatever right as I was making my podcast.
Yeah.
Which is still like top 10 funniest moments.
It was a very ironic thing when I was talking to you about it. You were like,
yeah,
by the way, guys, I'm going to start doing this.
Yeah, it's like, hey, guys, I'm starting a podcast. Hey, do you want to be on my podcast?
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Don't forget, if you enjoyed or got this far, hit the like, hit the dislike, hit the subscribe, hit the unsubscribe, comment something. Try not to be hateful.
Delete the video, report the video.
Report it for something
harass
stupid.
Me IRL. Find my home address.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful evening, day, night, whatever time it is for you. And see you in the next episode.